Hey, what's up guys, John here. While the entire world is distracted and divided over Israel and Hamas and Russia and Ukraine, CNN just came out saying to prepare for a new world order.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is now wrapped up his three-day meeting with Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin by pledging to shape a new world order.
Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin showing the world that China and Russia are together.
That Russia and China are working on right now. They are meeting quietly with 140 other nations around the world to dethrone the dollar and to remove America as the global superpower. And in this video, I'm going to break down the facts and show you exactly what's going on that the media is giving no coverage and no attention to. That's going to greatly impact nearly every single American in the years to come. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate more people about what's really going on. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description below to schedule a free strategy session. Take a look at this. So this came out one day ago. China, Xi Jinping pitched for a new world order as crisis grips Middle East. Now, a couple of years ago, if you were to say that line, people would have called you a tinfoil hat crazy person. But now CNN's saying it, this is posted right on MSN.com, right? So this is Microsoft.com. And what they are saying is that these threats, all the problems unfolding between Russia and Ukraine and Israel and Hamas is a situation which is going to strengthen their interaction. It's going to strengthen their problems. It's a common threat for them all. And so because of all these problems, they need to plan in advance and they need to get away from the US dollar. So how is this actually going to work? What is this actually going to look like? Well, here's what's going on. So Vladimir Putin and Chinese leader Xi Jinping discussed the conflict in the Middle East during the meeting on the sidelines of the Belt and Road Forum in Beijing Wednesday, according to the Russian leader, who said common threats brought the two countries closer. The international gathering, which saw leaders, representatives from countries mostly in the global south, congregate in the Chinese capital, took place under the shadow of the war between Israel and militant group Hamas that threatens to escalate the broader regional conflict. No one's paying attention to it, right? It's happening in the shadows. Then you have this here, CNN, this October 15th, 3 days ago, saying they want an alternative to global leader to the United States, right? They have expanding ambitions. So look at this. This is very fascinating because it's happening right here in the White House. So you have Jared Bernstein, who is the chief economist, Biden's chief economist. He said the government needs to drop its commitment to maintaining the dollar's reserve currency status. Right? This is happening inside America. They want to drop our commitment to the dollar. And this very individual, August 27th, 2014, said his opinion piece, dethrone King Dollar. Right? Dethrone the King Dollar. So let's look at whitehouse.gov. This is the website. I'll pull it down. You can see the URL, whitehouse.gov. Remarks by Chair Jared Bernstein at the Economic Policy Institute. This came out when? September 26th, 28th, right? 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. What did he say? Well, he said that I suspect this audience is familiar with the empirical literature supporting these assertions, but it is perhaps less obvious how trade can support decarbonization. Though through the trade channel, we can complement our own increasing supply of intermediate and final goods along with green technologies necessary to hit our climate targets while bending the relevant cost curves. And how are they going to do this? They want less reliant on China, right here, less reliance on China. Because getting all these cheap goods sent over from ships and planes, everything from China, it is bad for the environment. So they're saying that everything no longer needs to come from China. But the big problem here is that we're living in an affordability crisis in this country, and even with Chinese goods, many people still can barely afford to survive. Our cell phones, our televisions, parts are made there, our car parts are made there, appliances, everything's coming from China, everything's coming from overseas. And so as we start to divide ourselves from these other countries, how can we get back to a 2% inflation? I don't see it. I think we're going to see some really big price hikes coming across the board. And so they go on to say that we're considered that the nature of the wisdom did not put all the inputs under our soil and that are required to hasten clean energy transition underpinning the climate targets that are set by President Biden. We're actively working with our allies to avoid unreliable dependencies, aka China and other countries, and accelerate our achievement of our mutual goals, including global supply chain, early warning systems, anti-corruption initiatives, and more frictionless trade and investment, all while promoting strong labor and environmental standards as seen in our pursuit of new measures like the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework and the U.S.-Japan Critical Minerals Agreement. But look at this. Given our labor landscape in the United States, it is worth noting that this minerals agreement, including the employer neutrality clause, when it comes to union organizing on President's watch, every deal we make must uphold our labor standards and support our unions. So more regulations, more restrictions, higher costs. You're seeing what's happening with UAW strike and Kaiser strike and all these strikes happening. What we're going to start to see here is we're going to see a massive opportunity for these large corporations to go out there and start to implement robotics and technology, and they're going to start to, these corporations are about to take over. Seriously, this is going to be absolutely crazy that we're watching here. This isn't going to happen overnight, though. I think this is going to be a gradual thing over the next few years, next 3 to 5 years. And people need to plan for it, because when they say we're getting to a 2% inflation, we're having a soft landing, the inflation that we've been seeing the last couple of years is only going to continue to amplify in the future, right? So if your income is not amplifying with it, it's going to be a problem. So you need to really pay attention to what's going on so you can plan accordingly financially for this, right? So this has been going on for a while as well. So 2001 paper, Building Better, right? Just missing one word, right? Building Better Global Economic Bricks. And they've been talking about this restructuring of this world order for a very long time. China and Russia criticize Israel as divisions with the West sharpen. And they go on to say that Chinese leader Xi Jinping welcomed Russia's President Vladimir Putin to Beijing on Tuesday to the start of the visit, expected to underscore the two leaders' shared vision of a new international order no longer dominated by the United States and its democratic allies. Now, what are these companies or these countries doing? Well, these countries are dumping so much revenue, so much cash in treasury, 17.4 billion to be specific. You have China, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia all inside 1 month. Media's not talking about it. Why? Why aren't they talking about it? Because they don't want us talking about that. They want us focused on emotionally driven events, right, that we have no control over. Emotionally driven events. BRICS is now richer than the G7 countries. And look at what's going on here. Biden drafts $100 billion in foreign aid package, including money for Israel and Ukraine. Now, if you were on the other side, maybe you disagreed with the stance that America is taking. Would you want to fund America if we're taking that stance? Probably not, right? You would probably continue dumping our treasuries and pushing away from the reliance on America. That's exactly what's happening. And as we're doing this, we're walking into a situation where we're issuing more sanctions. We're issuing more problems for ourselves, right? So Biden administration announces new sanctions against Hamas. This came out yesterday, yesterday. And then U.S. sanctions Chinese, Russia's companies over, and this also happened 3 weeks ago. And so, I mean, we're walking into a big problem here. U.S. debt officially climbs above $100,000 per American. And they're talking about this 2 weeks ago. U.S. debt costs will hit new record by 2025, Goldman Sachs 2 weeks ago. So what do I think is going to happen? I think we're walking into an expensive world. I think we're walking into a world in which you want to get into the top 10%. 10% of net worth, that's what you want to get into. You want to have annual income that is going to be able to, buy you options, because this day and age, unfortunately, money and wealth equals options. You want options. You want to be able to pivot. You're going to want to move around. I think we're going to see a lot of people forced into selling off assets, forced into making decisions based on the direction in which this country is going. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of hard times in this country. We haven't seen hard times, in a very, very, very long time. We've had it so good for so long, but these good days, they're running out. This country is in some really, really, really big, big trouble, and they're making it very clear that this is going to happen. This is 100% going to happen. But the big question is, as we start to walk into 2024, into everything that's happening next year, what is this going to mean, right? This country is going to get more divided. There's going to be more anger. There's going to be more theft. There's going to be more crime. So, like you as a business owner, if you own a business in one of these cities, you should be paying attention to it, because we're going to start to see a lot of angry people looking to blame other people for their problems. And it's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's nobody's fault. It's the country. We're being driven into this problem, and we're all going down on this ship together. So drop your comments below. Now is the time. Now is the time. If you are, you want a great future for yourself, to just make sure you're in the right business. You're in the right, you're in the right vehicle that can get you from point A to point B so you can drive through this storm, because this storm, whether we like it or not, it's coming. My suggestion is if you have high interest credit card debt, you want to get out of that debt as soon as humanly possible. Even if it means pulling back on living standards for a short term, you should do it if you have to. But you want to get out of this high interest rate consumer debt, because credit card debt's now like 28.5%. It's absolutely insane. In 2008, during the Great Financial Crisis, interest rates on credit cards were 12.05%. 12.05%. Use a credit card interest calculator online, type in how much debt you have in there, and put the interest rate in on your card. You'll be shocked at how long it will take to pay it off. You could borrow $10,000, $12,000. It might take you 15 or 18 years to pay it off, and you'll pay back 3 or 4 times what you borrow. But as we move into an inflationary world and everything gets more expensive, it's going to be harder and harder and harder to get out of that debt. Right now, you still can. There's 0% APR balance transfer credit cards. There are certain options people can exercise. So I would use every single thing that you can to your benefit right now, these 0% APR cards. Just really be strategic. Be really prepared, because the world's going to get a lot harder. So the better off you are right now and the better focused you are with all of this taken into consideration, and the more options you'll have, and I feel like the better off the world will be, the more people that are preparing for all of this chaos that's unfolding. Drop below. We'll have a conversation about this. Do you think that we're walking into a situation where the dollar is going to get dethroned, and we're going to walk into a scenario in which our living standards are going to absolutely plummet? Curious as to what you think. Drop below, hit the like button. If you need help fixing your credit, maybe to get approved for some of these balance transfer credit cards, you need a credit score roughly of 740 to get approved for a lot of these cards. So if you need help, we'd love to help you fix your credit at GreatCreditFast.com. You can click the link below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.